pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, so I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:07 p.m. Pushway,
Here.
Henderson, Page, Rasmussen,
Yes.
here,
Yeah.
sure, Lebo here, Thorne,
Yeah, here.
Cruz is absent, his wife had surgery today, it was supposed to be this morning, it got pushed back to this afternoon, so that is why he's not here. So, I would like to make a motion for Kelly to run the meeting tonight. Can I get a motion for that?
You made a motion or make a motion?
I would like a motion.
I'll motion that.
So, Thorne,
Yes.
Page,
Should we have some discussion on that?
No.
No.
We're just saying you can't say no.
Okay, Page,
Rena Ronnie, yes.
Pushway,
Here. Yes.
Henderson,
Here. Yes. Sorry.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Lebo, yes, Cruz is absent. Okay, so Kelly, you get to be the supervisor tonight.
Acting.
Acting supervisor.
Thank you. Another word for that. There's going to be two public comment sessions tonight, one before the business meeting and one after. Please put your hand up and I'll call on you to speak. I'd like you to approach the podium and state your name and address. We don't know everybody out there in the audience, and it makes the clerk's job a whole lot easier if we know who you are and whether you're a resident, your address. So, yeah.
If you do not give your name and address, I'm not required to record your public comment. So that's why a lot of the time they're not in, because nobody ever gives their name and address, which I've stated it a few times. So if you would like your comment recorded, please, you don't even have to give your full address. You can just say your green township resident. I don't care.
How long are we limited to?
It's still free.
I'll get to that.
2 minutes.
Your comments will be limited to 3 minutes and they will be timed. This is not my rule, but a rule that was adopted by the board. Public comments are your chance to address the board. I will not be responding to any questions. Please be courteous and respectful and speak so that everyone can hear you. Above all, refrain from directing your comments to people in the audience. Remember, you're addressing the board. Can I ask someone on the board to help me with timekeeping, please?
I can do time. Can I just add one more thing?
Too young for a senior moment. Right?
A long way to the time.
You get the time.
Okay, I'll put that.
No, it's fine.
Here comes back. So right now I'm looking for someone that would like to address the board. Mr. Radler, your time and place for your discussion, but we'll let it happen.
All right, thank you. Randy Better, Grant Township, Shasta County Commissioner. Couple of brief things. Sheriff's Department's moving forward with new cameras. I think we spoke about that last time. They're replacing all of them. They got a new cruiser on order and a new transport van. So they're anxiously awaiting those. Press release just today from the Farm Bureau, Michigan Farm Bureau, support for Citizens for Local Choice ballot initiative, solar panels, wind turbines. They've thrown their weight behind it, and they want to see it on the ballot in the fall. So with that, they're looking to get a lot of signatures to get it and make sure it's on the ballot. So that just came out today with their press release. With that, that's pretty much the news that I got from the county level. For you, any questions for me?
Are you guys getting rid of the cruiser and getting a new one, or just adding to the fleet?
But no, one got crashed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was at the end of its life expectancy anyway. But luckily, they found several of them at Berger Chevy in Grand Rapids.
Oh.
And they participate in the government reimbursement program. So they didn't have to put it out for bid or anything, they met all the parameters.
Okay.
So they didn't have to spend any more to get it, because right now they're scarce.
Randy said the cameras, is there cameras on the patrol cars or the body?
Patrol cars. Yeah, and the resolution is so much better.
Do our officers count, every
Counties do not.
have body
No.
cams? Okay.
No, they only opted to spend the money for the cruisers because the cameras that they had were so poor. I mean, you could see a license plate, but you couldn't read. This thing, I mean, you can almost read who made it. I mean, it's really clear. So we had two competitive bids and did evaluations on both of them, and one came in marginally less than the other. Not a great amount, but very good factory support and an automatic upgrade within 2 years for all new cameras. So,
Yeah, with technology moves along.
yeah, so they get an automatic upgrade in 2 years. So that was the better deal. Any other questions? All right, thank you much.
Thank you, Mr. Better. So Randy didn't have to follow the rules, he was part of the legislative update that's gonna happen in a little bit. We got through it, thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, my name is Steve Lauer. I live at 20299 23 Mile, Green Church Township. I live here because I have been, in fact, I'm not worried about that. I have been confused in why I did what I did. The work I did, I want to make it clear, and I think everybody else should have an opportunity so we don't hate them. You know, we don't dislike them. We can understand their heart. I did this because I had a friend named Tom Smith, Everett, Michigan. Grew up there and spent my whole life, and he and I lived down the river, Muskegon, and we had fun. We had a great time, and we lived. And we sat on a swing out on our I'll get over that. But the point is, he was a dear friend of mine. I got to go to college. He got to go to Vietnam. He chose to go. Army Ranger. So what his job was to take, in 1973, all helicopters leave, everybody's gone. Tom Smith stayed as an Army Ranger to take 6,000 is all soldiers into battle in Vietnam. So he got there, and you all know the story after. That was the entire site got overcome. You know, and Tom was there, he never got home. He did nothing. So the point is nothing more. I don't dislike China, but I don't want Tom to think I stood nowhere for him. And everybody thinks I'm mad at Jim. I have nothing to do with Jim. The point is, I didn't do this to hurt people. I did this to represent Tom Smith, who was an incredible hero. Because he loved the river, I love the river. He would never like this. And that's my opinion. I will back off from that. But the point is, I think we should have this available for people to understand rather than call me, you enjoy beating Jim up. That's what I've heard so much of. I never enjoyed it. I enjoyed the political opportunity to change the world. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
My name is Gary King. I live on 205th Avenue, Township, right across from the park. I just want to thank you guys. I was really last November proud of what we accomplished, and it's enough that we got international and national attention over this thing. Amazing, this little piece of land. But I just want to review because we're on the very stretch. What?
Progressing
we're on the home stretch of this event that we chose to take on. And I want everybody to get in and invite right to the end with us. We have 70% of the vote went with us, which showed it was a super majority. We had people that were said that the environment they were worried about. And we cited examples of Midland, Kalamazoo River, Hershey River. All these things happened because of the hiccup. The little $10 million event in the Kalamazoo River is going to cost everybody in the area over billions of dollars to do it. They only had 80%, and that was in 1911. So our river, because most of the people out here in our township live collective all around that river, they bought those properties for quality of life, the environment, and what they like. So I'm with them on that point. Then you had the Green Haven people. They were worried about stoplights, 2,000 or 3,000 cars a day, 200 trucks a day, and if you ever drive from here to Big Rapids at 8 in the morning at noon or at supper time, there's the big change is going. Traffic is pretty good right now on that road coming out from Big Rapids. Sewer problem, I'm gonna take you guys, you step up, you got people working on it, things are happening fast. There's a concern in Green Township. Well, a lot of people are waiting to see if the government wins over us, but I'm just asking you to stay in the fight through a couple more elections. We'll probably have a, what they call a pen election in the spring and another one in November. We want you, the people, the other 30% that didn't join us on this, to join us on the push to the very end. You know, a lot of people like to just wait people out and everybody runs out of gas and they do what they want anyways. So we just have a few cards left in this game, and we want to make sure that we play real hard until we get to the very end of whatever the results are. There are a lot of people out there, they tell me that this is not progress, just what they're proposing. It's not progress. People moved here because of the rural and country atmosphere.
Yep, your time is just about 10 seconds. Go ahead and summarize.
Okay. So I'm just asking you to join us in these next two pushes and take us to the finish line, win or lose. And be done. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
My name is John Holdsworth, I'm from Green Township. It was a year ago, this is February 13th. Michael Fay came to the Big Rapids Township special meeting for the Mackinac Center and was telling us the failures of these big boondoggles of government spending. John Mazzino, he was also there. He was involved in the Pontiac Silverdome project. We talked about it afterwards. I grew up right down here. We can see when people say, oh, this is going to be a great thing, and it isn't. Bob, you and I talked about taking a walking tour in the neighborhoods by that. We both agree that it's not a very smart thing to do. Okay? So anyways, then Penny Curry told us about how Goshen is affiliated with the Chinese government. It was just coming out then, we found out we got far there. You know, the alarm bells are up. We had some listening, some not. We have our people in Washington telling us, the CIA, and other agencies, this is going to be a Chinese spy operation. Well, that night I had something else that I wanted to do instead of that. I had a congressional research report to give tonight in 10 News. The crime of violence is something that, you know, be alarmed. And anyways, we see that the reason that we're having all this crime of violence is that the federal government is paying the states an incentive to make it happen. I also wrote a paper earlier talking about the progressive prosecutor at Michigan State. That night, we had the shootings at Michigan State. And today, the laws all go into effect. It's going to get it done. A gun's an animal. And I'm in the sentence without a bird, that's nothing. The bird is a vine. And I spoke about the progressive prosecutor in English County, how she had a Tom Leonard in here now, told us that she would get you for the primary crime for speeding, but if you had guns and drugs in your car, you wouldn't get it. The shooter, he had a gun charge, and he didn't get charged for the felony that it was. We're hearing all over going for the people's rights and such like that. Well, the whole thing comes down to 24 years ago, I asked in regards to that congressional research report, right here in this room, with a smile meeting, which was a friend of the court meeting. I'm sorry. And they told me that, I asked who gets the kickback money. They told me they did. And anyways, as it comes out, I asked the county commissioner later on when they got it, and he said, well, this is a small community. We gotta have the money, with this kickback. And anyways, you have this going on. We're a small community with Goshen, and we gotta have this money. They're saying, well, look at what results have taken the money. So, do the right thing. Thank you.
Friends of one, 465, 190th Avenue. Back on December 12th, I came and addressed the police board about the financing of these very fancy postcards that were distributed to all the Township households, urging voters to say no to Goshen and to vote for new board members. I asked for an answer about the source of these postcards, who manufactured them, who sent them out, where did the financing come from. I did my own research on this, and I came across a company called US Press that makes these double-sided color postcards for $220.73. For 1,440 households, let's say 1,400, for the sake of simplicity, it costs about $3,090. For 6 mailings of these $18,000, it's adding up. Postage for 6 mailings, then $1,400 with a special rate of 37 cents per pre-sorted, comes out to $3,000. Total of $21,639.50. One of these is identified as the Committee to Clean Up and Cost Accounting. I checked online and found no such organization. But it does give a fictitious address, which is right down the street from me, in the middle of the field. This is really odd, and it begs the question, what's going on? Committee to Clean Up and Cost Accounting, who knows what that is? I don't do anything know. Okay, fictitious. The address is fictitious. However, we want to know, many of us want to know, and for the sake of transparency, we want to know who picked up the cost of this expensive mailing, mailings, plural. If you did, you committee members, look, the pictures are right under. I'm assuming you know who picked up the cost for it. All you have to do is tell us. If you did, fine, it rests right there. But I suspect this is big time bucks coming from someone's pocket who does not necessarily live in Green Township. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Okay, but it sure looks suspicious. When you ran on the platform of transparency. Transparency, okay? We're asking you to be transparent and tell us who picked up the cost for these expensive mailings, which in no small part were responsible for your being elected to the board. Okay. Why are you hiding behind anonymity? What could possibly be the reason? It sure looks suspicious. And I think we Green Township constituents need an answer. Will you give it to us? We post it on your email or on your website, and then all of us will know. Thank you. Thank you.
Cindy Postman, everyone in the drive. First, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing. And I'm just curious, like, you probably already addressed it, I just don't remember what you guys said. Your phone message is still Chapman. When I call to find out something, it's Chapman. I just would like to have James, or if you could.
I promise not to respond, but if Corey wants to.
Maybe just also to tomorrow, if I'm waiting on that, we've not been able to get into that particular phone where that voicemail is, so that's why it was not been changed. But tomorrow is the day we're trying to get a new phone system.
Same number?
Yep, the number should be the same. Yep, that shouldn't change, it just our stuff is different and keyword for contact information.
So names will be associated with the different offices.
I'm assuming it's gonna be the same like we have right now, where we can transfer.
Corey, clerk, Rob, treasurer, Jason,
They
supervisor.
call one number, whoever answers, and we can transfer you to whoever you need to call. That's how it is right now, and I'm pretty sure that's. I did remember what I was gonna say though. If you have a question for Jason, since we're not answering questions, you can send it to me after the meeting and I'll write them all down and make sure that you have time to get to that.
Thank you. I noticed that some people find it a little obnoxious to have their phones, ringing. If you could turn those off, I'd be greatly appreciated. Anybody else, want to speak? Yes, sir.
I'm Paul Quick, and there's a 20889 Emerald Lane, which is in Green Haven, subdivision. And I'm going to talk about the lift station. I went back through my notes, and I found in 2022, about mid-year, there were 262 REUs on the lift station. And at that time, there was going to be a couple more going into some life data. So I don't know if there's been more buildings or not, so I would assume maybe 264 to 270 REUs on the lift station. I'm wondering if anybody has talked to police in Vanderbilt lately. They were going to be our go-between to get the bids for replacing the lift station. They were going to get the contractors and do the bids for us. This year's too late. 2024 is already booked, so now we're looking at 2025, probably at the earliest. So I would hope that progress is moving on to try to replace that. The last meeting, not the special meeting, the meeting before, Jason said he was going to meet with the right place and give us an update on the grant monies that were available for that. Obviously, he's not here, so probably won't be an update on that tonight. One thing that was mentioned at the last special meeting was that people were tired of hearing about this at the board meetings, but it's essential to us that something happens. And if we're looking at 2025, there's going to be a new board in November of this year. We have an election in August to elect new people. You may be running, you may not. I don't know. But some people are making comments, they're tired of hearing about this, but they're new to the game. This has been out here for 3 or 4 years, and a lot of the people behind me in the audience have only started coming when the ocean plant was announced. They weren't here in 22, 21, 20, when we've been discussing all this. So I would just reiterate that, obviously we need something done, and hopefully that in the future, police and Vanderbilt branch can be brought back into full.
Thank you, Mr. Quick.
Hi, everyone. On the gentleman's comments, I did bring up the lift station. It's not that I'm tired of hearing about it, it's that I'm appalled at the condition that it's been over the years and how it's maintained over the past years. I do understand that it's a dire situation that needs to be handled, but I'm just wondering why it got like that from the beginning. Not being maintained. Jessica Sharp, Paris, Michigan. I'm gonna go through a few things because I have a vision of our community, small town, Paris, Michigan, country life. And that's what I'm going through with the Easter egg hunts and events that's coming in and pulling the community together. And some of this is on the EDRA of Michigan.org site, if you want to go on there, because I've mentioned tourism in the very beginning, bringing in dollars that way and keeping a small town country life. There's lots of problems with Goshen coming in here. That's why there's a huge populace that doesn't want it, and this is a population across the state, tens of thousands. This is due to abuse of taxpayers' money. So we're saying no to the projects, and we have better ways of handling our communities. That is community efforts where we can come in and speak on what we would like in our communities and collaborate on what would help our communities grow stronger and connected, also putting in the consideration of the environment. Yeah. So let's paint a picture starting with the former Goshen site. Nestled in the middle of 270 acres of lush wilderness and retired farmland, including 60 acres of wetland. We find a complex of retail, commercial, and educational facilities surrounded by a network of permaculture fields and orchards with trails exploring the wilderness. That's one vision, one tiny snippet of a vision of what this community can look like and still thrive. It's not always about the money. And we're sick of government overreach by the tens of thousands. Okay, I listened to a water thing on the ladies that went up against Nestle, but these are ladies in the inner city that have bills they're putting through to protect the city people because they shut off their water, and the next thing you know, CPS comes in and takes their children. So it's a capture zone, and if you're going to investigate what's really going on with the water and the environment, we want to keep this small town country life, and we want to collaborate to keep it that way. Thank you.
I would just like to say, I understand, I guess, things can't be as transparent as we would like or whatever, for whatever reason. I don't understand. I don't appreciate it. Things are supposed to be transparent. It wasn't just over about Goshen. It wasn't, that wasn't it. It was about the way the community was being treated and not having a say, and not having a voice, and not being listened to. So, to me, in a way, it's kind of a little bit of a repeat up here with saying one thing, doing different, another, and not getting any answers out of our board, transparency again, like he said, the right place, and update. We're not getting any updates, just like we weren't before. Doesn't seem like Goshen is being forced for their updates that they said a long time ago that they would supply information and have not done it. But I do see that they said recently they're going to be going after submitting their application to Eagle finally. So I would just like to say, for you all to know and everybody else to know, there's very many environmental organizations, like she brought up with Nestle, with the water, all them people, what they're waiting for is for that to be in writing. I know I can't turn around and I can't look at him back there, but it's for him, everybody. They're waiting, environmental organizations, people, the tribes, they're waiting for that to be on paper, scientifically written data. And then they will be speaking out against Goshen about what they're proclaiming to do. 715,000 gallons of water daily usage, toxic chemicals on top of it that they can't even put in writing to us. That there's 3 chemicals, they won't put it in writing, they won't do anywhere. But when they submit that application, it will be written, it will be proven. We get ready, Chucky boy, because they're all coming.
Thank you.
Tim Magnuson in Green Township. And I wanted to tell you that sometimes we get a bit impatient for the news of the CCP company. I do too. But I realized that Goshen, the deals didn't happen overnight, therefore it will take some time to clean it up. And I really wanted to encourage the 5 of you and remind others of the mess that you inherited when you took this on. You didn't start at ground zero. You started below ground. So now you have to not only deal with present issues, future issues, you still have to clean up the mess and probably some legalities, I don't know, that the previous board left you. So again, I want to encourage you to keep the faith, stay the fight. We've got this far, we're not turning back. There are far more of us supporting you than not supporting you. Believe me, I'm in the area, I talk to people. Most of us are supporting you 100%. And thank you.
Karen Lowry, 229-43 Mile Road, Plymouth. I just had a quick comment about the thinking about all the times I went to my mailbox and I got those things from the previous board, the postcards. I think I got as many fire starters from them as I did from this. Anyway, it wasn't a one-sided thing for that, and I'm sure it will happen in the next upcoming elections. People need to get their names out there and information. And I don't know that it matters to me. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
I like school truck. And I just did it.
One for, I'm sorry. Everybody gets to speak one time for 3 minutes. If you spoke during this session, we're not going to recognize you during the session after the business meeting. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak? Okay, seeing no hands, we're going to move on to the business session of the board meeting. We're starting momentarily. I'd like to ask the public not to ask questions or make comments during this portion of the meeting. If your hand goes up, I'll probably see it, but I'm not going to respond. If you make a comment or ask a question, I'm probably going to hear it, but I'm not going to respond. The board wants to get to the meeting as quickly as possible, respecting everybody's time. So we're going to start the business meeting now. I appreciate your cooperation. I'm going to ask Corey if there's any additions to the agenda.
Yep, I added for February 8th, minutes to be approved, and then we also need to approve a date, to approve the budget. And I also have our closed meeting minutes that need to be passed around for everybody to.
Okay, while you're passing that around, so we check our schedules and come up with a date. You got one in mind?
It has to be next week because it has to be before February 28th, and then I have an election on the 27th. So the 19th, I am busy because I'm doing the county early voting in the graphics that day. So I'm looking at either the 21st or the 22nd.
How does that look? The other members on the board, Tuesday, the 20th, or
Rob prefers the 21st, which is Wednesday. I'm looking at either Wednesday or Thursday next week.
I came on it says the 23rd is right.
I'm looking at 21st, which is Wednesday, or 22nd, which is Thursday.
My schedule is always either on Tuesday or Thursday, but not. Down there around. I mean, I don't want patient schedule. What I'm looking at it is, I'm usually booked 3 weeks. Yeah. So, whatever I can. I mean, I know I knowing now I can make some changes, but what time of day? What time of day are you thinking? Like on Wednesday?
4 o'clock, too late. I mean, does that kind of cover your, if we do it on Wednesday, does that get you through your patients at 4?
I would probably have to reschedule a clinical one or two things, but that would be less,
Moving around.
detrimental to my business, but, yeah. So, if that's what works, then I'll make it work.
Is the evening even better? I mean, I don't know how late you schedule your patients. You know, 5 o'clock better than 4.
Things out of the
Oh.
week, you know.
I'm just trying to.
No, I appreciate that, no, you know, when you're trying to practice, it's, you know, you just gotta decide what 16 hours a day you want to work, you know. So, just let me know, go along.
Either day works for me, so it's gonna be
You're gonna be gone.
We come back, we get back to 23rd. Fly overnight, the 22nd to the 23rd. I'm trying to find what time.
I am good for, later in the day would be better, like 4 o'clock, you gotta finish the work. Or evenings, I don't know. But 4 o'clock is.
So should we try for?
We'll do that.
On Wednesday.
Either 4 or 5 on Thursday.
Generally, speaking, but if it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday, that's fine, that's the consensus, it's better, so.
anything on those 3 days.
And this is for the budget, isn't it?
At 5 p.m. Wednesday.
Can we have a motion to schedule a meeting on February 21st at 5 p.m. for the special meeting?
So,
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion besides what we've already done?
we get pizza?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Well, the story's fine.
Pizza. Let us know what you like. Okay.
Hearing no discussion,
Are we going
vote.
to implement or like you said?
Yes. No, I'm on. Okay, so, all right, roll call. Thorne.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Cushway.
Yes.
Henderson. Hay.
Yes.
Rebo, yes. He's absent. Okay, so Wednesday, the 21st at 5 p.m.
Any correspondence, in the director's office?
Well, we gotta approve the meeting minutes too. Or other, there's, we're gonna be here for an hour for the minutes, so.
You want to go back and approve the minutes from,
We have 4 meetings.
isn't that coming up on the consent agenda?
That's what I tried to report, I was looking back.
Oh, no, I'm just wondering about the correspondence that may have come in, to your office, was it in? Okay, all right.
Just a reminder, if there's anyone that has not yet paid their property taxes, tomorrow is the last day to pay the and I will be here until 5:30 tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay, Okay. We're going to go on to the consent agenda, and the first item on the consent agenda is approving the meeting minutes for January 9th, 18th, and the 30th of 2024. So I need a motion to approve that.
Julie added February 18th.
Okay. So I'd like a motion to approve the minutes for January 9th, January 18th, January 30th, and February 8th, 2024. We're going to have to look those over. And
I make a motion that the minutes be approved.
do I have a second? So, any discussion? Y'all be in order, as you remember it?
Yeah.
Okay, we can vote.
Hicks,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Cushman,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Reyes, Thorne,
Yes.
Next item on the consent agenda is the treasurer report. Rob?
We've got the treasury report available, and long story short, we've got, right now, as of February 5th, 1.369 million in total funds. We're in good shape, there's nothing concerns whatsoever. If anyone would like an account breakdown, we have that available to anyone who'd like this.
Okay, next is the sewer report. And I remember from reading it that, it was a 30-day report. The total flow was 856,200 gallons. Average daily flow was 28,540. Kilowatts used, as far as electricity was 411. Troy's got quite a few comments here. He ordered some electrical parts for an item in the can, and he called several times. Medler Electric is who he was dealing with. He received a call from Medler that another vendor screwed up. There was a delay, and then he was told the part was in, but it was broken, and they had to reorder the part. So as of 2/4, the part was not in, and as of 2/12, they're still waiting on the part they need to make a repair in lift station. So that's our report. The legislative report is the next thing on the consent agenda, and that's where Randy Vetter, our county commissioner, is going to speak. That's taken care of. Next, we're going to go on to old business, and under old business, we have road commission down, that was about grinding, how many we were going to do, and we're going to give the county approval to do that. We decided to wait until Jason could be involved in that. As far as I was concerned, we're going to go with the 3 grindings that we paid for last year, but we really need to discuss that and hammer those details out. We've got time to do that, so we're not under a crunch yet. The Easter egg hunt was addressed by Jessica Sharp. Corey, do you have anything to add on the Easter egg hunt?
I'm checking with our insurance, so I'm just checking on liabilities and stuff like that, so, I'm not sure I'm covered for anything.
Okay, so it's gonna take place on our property. Okay. Yeah, it would be wise to involve the insurance company and everything, so it's like,
We're about it, so, do a few more details and then, you can just have to vote on it.
Is there already a date
Yes.
assigned as a Saturday or was it
On a Saturday, and we're thinking of utilizing both spaces as possible,
Both spaces and
here and down there.
Get into them.
And then we're thinking the 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I have, papers here, I can just give you the names and you can go through it. Got a little bit more detail, sure, again.
I can just make a copy afterwards.
You have it.
I think it's somewhat we need to ask Jessica how that's gonna work. If there's little kids traveling from the Stone Factory Park up here, it's gonna be split up, you know. That's kind of an issue. Well, we can get to that. But it should be that. I'm sure you got a
We
plan.
have a solid plan that's safe and effective. Most likely the children will be up there, the little ones. We separate the large ones, and then we're gonna have a crew, we plan on having a shared copy, a fire truck, you know, so we're gonna have.
If it's two separate events, it'll probably be a non-issue then. I was just concerned about, you know, little children on a story, coming down the busy road there.
Yeah.
Okay. The next item on old business is the second reading of the planning commission. And we're going to lead on that, and Jason will be involved. That'll take place at the meeting that we scheduled for the 23rd? 21st? Yeah. And then moving right on to new business. Every year we have to approve poverty exemption resolution so that folks can get a break on their property taxes. There's guidelines that are listed here. It's 3-4 pages, a little more than that. So go ahead and look that over. It's just one of those routine things that we have to do every year. Eventually, I'd like a motion to approve the property exemption resolution.
This is coming from our assessor, and these numbers came from him, so I basically just have to type it up and do it.
So there's no change in the figures. The figures are what they are. Every total. Yeah, this poverty exemption is dependent on the size of the family and the income brought in by the household.
The federal probably changed the numbers, probably that way.
Somebody created those numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth passed them on to us, but he didn't make those numbers up.
Numbers are close.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the poverty exemption resolution, Mr. Ray. When you're ready.
Just who verifies
the income, the
I imagine there's a process that has to be, you know.
So it's true. That's the other tax.
I don't know what's the answer to that, Dan.
I thought they do it during, doesn't Seth do it during the board of review stuff, yeah.
Okay.
So then they have to, from when I was on it, they had to apply for it, and then there's like the paperwork that they have to fill out, and then they give it to Seth, and then Seth has to look it all over, and then it's gotta go through the board of review.
Okay, so they make an application initially, and then they're sending the paperwork to get that filled out? and-
Yeah, I believe.
Does that have to be done before the board review, finishes up its work in those 2-3 days, or have you done?
I think they bring it in, I think that's when they bring it in for, they bring it in and Seth will look at it, and then we think we would vote in board of review whether to accept it or not.
Okay, so everything has to be ready?
Yes.
Yes. That application, gotcha.
It's laid out right here, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, an occupied homestead of property for which exemption is requested. Number 2, file a claim with a supervisor or board review accompanied by federal and state income tax return for all persons residing in the homestead, including the property tax, credit returns filed in the year preceding year or in the current year. Number 3, produce a valid license, driver license, and other identification. 4, produce a deed, land contract, and other evidence of ownership of the property for which an exemption is requested. 5, meet the federal property income guidelines, et cetera, that we said, and list the household numbers and so. Yeah, that's a pretty solid 5-point plan of who and how they determine.
Spread the word, if anybody needs any help with the property taxes, there's a program out there that will help.
So I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Dan, do I have a second?
I will second.
Have a second, any further discussion? No other discussion, we'll take a vote.
Page,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Fishburne,
Yes?
Anderson,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Eagle, yes, and Hudson. Motion approved.
Our next item of business is financial, it's approving the monthly checks. We've all had a chance to look over.
I forgot to bring them up. Did you want to look at them, Dan?
Um,
I've got the list with them.
got
Should I go with?
Yeah. No, I'm
File.
good.
So at some point, I'm looking for a motion to approve the payment of checks. Distribution. For a second.
I'll second. Okay, I'll make the motion.
Thank you, David. Larry, second.
Oh, second.
There we have a second. Any discussion, anything you see that you'd like to talk about there?
Just a lot of discussion about our new Xerox and stuff, we talked about, is that reflected in here, is that, yeah, that's forthcoming? Not yet, okay.
It's ordered and it's probably going to be delivered next Thursday, I think, Thursday.
Okay.
So I don't expect to have any.
Got a carriage granted a job lately, and we chat a little bit about it.
In my research that I did on the copier, I found that we're trying to tie to the Xerox machine in this area. Xerox has territory and nobody can come into it, so I also found out that the folks that handle the repairs and the maintenance are in town every single day. They have a contract with all of the 5 school districts, so I was spot on that part. There would have been no delays, but if we wanted to go with Xerox, we had no choice but deal with gentlemen locally, and they're all fine with that.
Good. We've done good.
I think we did well. Are we ready to take a vote?
Dave.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Bushway.
Yes.
Henderson.
Yes.
Rico, yes. Thorne.
Yes.
Hudson. Approval to take it.
Okay, we'll begin our second public comment session. Same rules apply as the first session. Raise your hand and actually recognize you from the podium. Name and address and vote. Already spoke. Not my rule. One per evening. I wouldn't mind being here till midnight. We got rules we got to follow. I don't like to follow all the rules we have to do with this board.
I'll give her my 3 minutes.
There's no transferring.
Oh, you didn't say that.
I should. Any other public comments?
Just one thing, can Cory speak up so we can hear?
Yeah.
I mean, I hear his voice very well, but
Yeah, my voice carries, not all voices do. I think we should probably look into getting a microphone for people that have quiet voices.
I think the board had microphones, okay?
What happens when microphones board?
I'm not sure if they belong to us or if they belong to someone else. But we'll check into that for sure.
I agree with that.
I just can't hear it. What's going
That's why I
on?
had Kelly run the meeting and not me, because I'm not loud. Sorry.
You just saw a solution to the problem. All you gotta do is talk and keep on work with her.
Actually, if someone could get me a full board,
In my case, half of it's my gear.
that'd be fun, wouldn't it, right?
If there are no other public comments, then we'll need a motion to adjourn the meeting. But I'm not trying to rush it. If your hand goes up, we'll give you a chance to speak.
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Alright. We got 2 seconds, so.
Okay, voice vote? No, not that far. Thank you very much. Very, very good.